with that. And if we feel it's not it becomes valuable.
Yeah, that's where he
That sounds like we haven't got another press Thank you. Snoop. Pocket.
Ladies and gentlemen, on Thursday, Services Supervisors and enjoy I have a noise. Please put it on mute for the back board. Here, the again, so Mr. Mann, we have folks.
Phil Mead Advisory as received a note that a potential afternoon to request the further made to Pelican. Other comments that I've received from the safety work group to East Bill, perhaps my colleagues are planning what was said, and I need to get some on to parts in the Pelican. I was an amazed with regard to the committee. Forth with the traffic study were to be shortcut that's on the committee and the safety and security of the committee. All chairmen. I'd like to reconsider how we're followed together. It makes sense, but us down. I don't think it's imminent study authorized board may undertake, but to back us as a couple concerned about. I don't have, but I believe, I hope we have, but both have indicated they had planned. Yes, very much.
Yes, and it's an item in various working groups.
All of the entire safety and concerning, I think certainly good working and just stop and think, make some of yours or not that they it's more difficult to find volunteer work for the. Clearly, it's the board's prerogative to know groups to fit them way obvious because they happen to have a particular residents and circumspectively. I'm certainly, but happy that the PAC me expressed that I was offended word I used by the process, and that I share that with you now as members of the free hour can preserve greater. Problem fixes similar to way people to the extent the supervisors were totally 100% erroneous. May not be particularly memorable as it was designed and for safety of residents or whatever, but it was to the supervisors. To use that as a reason to president and to take PPAC as real PPAC of individual the good of I think the super pushed at least forward with that through people and PPAC. So.
Mr. Commissioner. Yes, sir. Bob Gepper, Safety Working Group.
Good afternoon. The as the committee assessor to begin with, the events I understand. Unfortunately, I wasn't here. I was out of town. But we have back to develop in our. We have some study groups. Ponds being another, landscape is another. To report to back all the back through these groups, and we make a record and pass it up to you guys. What I will call asking today was Taylor Committee first. For this, and what Nancy a real kick in the gut and mad to be very, as I've out into every awful lot of other and they didn't like the reason, and then just jump and directly come to the board for this have done to do this because there's a safety now up in it, but for a resident with thing to do with the door not paying where he was driving at the young ladies that ornament from the colleges in our community, and he was driving like this. Humorous, but studies, conversations that we ended up putting in stop signs. He didn't feel that was a stop sign. Do I persons in the road stop for that? The only point is I didn't come to the problem. You can my this one of the travel in my we have 2 lanes. I want to get into fix. That's what got. But we got that problem reconsideration. It was taken enough, but much that we come back and look. If it is committee and can't have, that's good. I was going to talk, and it was, I guess, you guys. It was, as far as I was concerned, it was a pretty offensive letter in the local back, and it really observed. Here's about it is the wrong way for your time.
Mr. Mann, any other person who wants to speak on this issue?
Not unless we.
No, I'm talking about the
No,
Pelican Reserve.
I didn't. None of that, okay. No, there's no on that topic.
Board members make comments?
Certainly do. If you're being an early committee, should, if anything, we would ask the board. Let me
Please make yourself clear. I just wanted to, you say, and who, please.
paragraph to break.
Go ahead.
The one also, we really looked at the decision that happened at the last meeting. Also, we never even bothered to ask people why they made that over and when we just jumped and I think is supervisor plants are the two that also the umbrella, for lack of a better term, that were very important people. That, as was stated, these are residents that are absolutely, totally to the of Penwood and all DDD. If this in there, they have us with this, the determined in it, and us with owe them that support. I was saying, as under this, we would like result as reason to be a really seasoned period of expediently, and I would strongly urge that there's something meeting the reserve in communication. Ways something to do with this board that we have needs to be audience out to them part of it, because you can make all the rules that you want into the are its point. Any part that you didn't understand? Okay.
Did you? Okay. Like to nations, create them. They award final the information that they provide us. We have to, but we do listen. We have Pelican Preserve Group. We have different people in different camps on this, and I think the reason why at the last we wanted a city full of people with differing that whatever, whether we stay with or one and hope back on people's work.
Yeah, preserve. I'm going to be that's people. I mean, you're for GFT, entity going through, and
Well, Pelican in this route, and I'll say when they have any about and observe some of the people observe. You'll let me heard from various folks who don't stand that elected response. We need help us. Well, board to take us on an issue. What we need is all to try us. They can resign, go on, and work to get a decision. Is there any word on this issue, or we're on to the next?
Give them to come.
All right. Recommend.
Aye.
Fail to trust. We can manage further.
We have with Mr. Tinkle, yes, and also from the.
Afternoon, Ed Tinkle. I'm also on 3B, but to get to that on the agenda. Couple things. Haven't heard anything, or we and or.
Service, and I have additional materials to provide to them, and I'm providing them.
Okay, going.
No,
The next, what you do.
I think that we broadcast.
they better have other. It worked fine 30 minutes ago. I can't keep working on. I can shut it off and restart it, and reboot. Or that.
Same.
I guess to see what they can do.
So if we reboot it, would that at least
Possibly
Stand recess.
Sorry, Ed. Sorry.